Joining me now is the Ultimate Fighter, Bryan Battle, who faces Tresean Gore at UFC Vegas 47 on February 5th. Bryan, how's it going?
Man, it's going great, man. And, it's another beautiful Monday. Thank you for having me in here.
Absolutely. Well, to start off, what's the energy been like at the gym ahead of your fight against Tresean, and how are you feeling ahead of this one?
Well, I'll tell you, man, the energy at my gym is always great. It's always great. That's one of the reasons why when people ask me if I'm going to leave and, go to a mega gym, I can't imagine because, my coaches know me. We've been doing this for a long time. My teammates are great. There's some guys that, you haven't heard of yet, but you're going to hear of down the road. So the energy has been fantastic, but the energy is always fantastic. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way Highest Stand does things.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys were supposed to fight back in August in the Ultimate Fighter finale. How quick did the UFC come to you with this fight after the win over Gilbert?
I don't remember exactly when. I know I signed an agreement a good little bit before it got announced. Because I wanted to fight in December. So that was, I don't know if it got announced in October, if I figured it out in October. I can't remember which is which, but I knew a couple weeks before it got announced.
Gotcha. And then looking at Tresean's skill set, what are your thoughts on him as an opponent?
Dude, man, I mean, dangerous guy, explosive, athletic, technically sound. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I don't know if they consider him 3-0 or 4-0. The UFC, I think they're using the semifinal fight from the show as an official fight. So I'm not really sure how that works, but there's a reason why he's here with as many fights as he's had. You know what I'm saying? He trains at a reputable gym with, great training partners. So I'm expecting him to be prepared for this fight. I'm expecting him to come in great shape. I'm expecting him to be the best version of himself. And I wouldn't want anything other than the best version of Tresean. You know what I'm saying? So, fingers crossed. Hopefully that's what me and the fans get come February 5th. So we'll see.
Who's going to be cornering you for this fight?
Same people as last time. Same guys. Sensei Tom, Sensei Kevin, Sensei Tony. You know what I mean? Like I said, we've been doing this for a minute. We kind of got assigned to this stuff. Look to just keep on improving and getting better. The coaches are looking to get better at coaching. I'm looking to get better at fighting. We're all just, learning and growing together.
Absolutely. And obviously, got to talk about winning the Ultimate Fighter. What were those moments like just after you won? What was that feeling and what was going through your head in that moment?
Well, I mean, obviously, right after the fight, one of the biggest things is just like, just this huge relief of something that you've been preparing for, an extended period of time. And, just something that, even a year before it happened just seemed like something that would never be possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that have to go right for you to not only be on the Ultimate Fighter, but to win the Ultimate Fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, it was pretty surreal just soaking it all up. And, after the adrenaline wore off, it was like an overflow of emotions. I'm sitting back there getting my stitches and, my coach is giving me the trophies like, hey man, you did this, soak it all up. And, I don't know if I'm just getting more emotional the older I get. You know what I'm saying? I cry more now than I ever have. It's weird. I don't cry a lot, but when I do cry, I cry. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it's like as I get older, like there's just more tipping points that can push me over the edge. And that was just something where it was just, it wasn't the result or, the conclusion to a lot of hard work. Cause obviously I'm still on my journey. I'm still getting better. I'm still working hard every day, but it was definitely the result of years and years of working hard and grinding and, just pushing towards this dream and just taking a big step towards the overall dream.
Absolutely. And then your time on the show itself, what was it like learning from guys like Alexander Volkanovski and Craig Jones?
Oh man, dude. I mean, Coach Volk, Craig, Frank Hickman, college wrestler, taught at Tiger Muay Thai and, coaches at Syndicate now, chief coaches wrestling at Syndicate, Big Woody, strength and conditioning coach at Tiger Muay Thai, has got his own thing going on now. Uncle Joe, Volk's coach, the man who built the legend himself. I mean, even young Colby, you know what I'm saying? Who, somebody that no one's heard of yet, but he's been training with Volk since Volk's first started. So, there was so much knowledge in our training rooms to go around that it was almost like, obviously you're there to win the show, but there were some times where I was like a little bit envious of some of the guys. I mean, it sounds kind of like tongue in cheek, but it's like the bulk of the time I was on the show, I was either helping someone get ready for one of their fights or I was getting ready for one of my own fights. So there wasn't a whole lot of time where I could just like ask them, recreational questions that would have nothing to do with the game plan. With that being said, there was still a ton of stuff game plan related that they were able to give me, just like little things. And those very few moments where I was just sitting back, relaxed, and just picking their brain. It was just cool just to pick their brain, just to get, their philosophies, their fight philosophy, you know what I'm saying? Their approach to things and things along those natures.
Absolutely. And a lot has changed for you since your last fight. Of course, you're a father now. What has parenting been like in and out of the gym? And what has that whole experience been like for you?
Man, it is one of the most challenging, hardest, sleep depriving, rewarding, best things, someone could ever do. You know what I'm saying? One, the babies, it gives you perspective on life. You know what I'm saying? Because, babies don't come out, hating anybody or, having any ill intention towards anybody. They're just like these pure blank slates. You know what I'm saying? And, it kind of just puts in perspective, the prejudices that people have for one another and, all the negative feelings and animosities that, we have is stuff that's learned. You know what I'm saying? You don't come out the womb with any of that. It forces you to, gain perspective on yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things where, I thought I was totally cool. I thought I was fully mature and grown up. And then, having the baby, it's like having a mirror to your face and you're like, maybe I'm not what I thought I was. And it's tough because, you either have to step up and, be what you want to be for the baby, or, you can settle for, being less than, and you know what I'm saying? And the baby getting less than. So there's a lot of really challenging moments, and there's just been a lot of personal growth over the time the baby's been born, just from that, you know what I'm saying? So, the baby, it's tough, but it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? I'm so happy. Miles is cool. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool customer. So, being a parent's awesome.
Absolutely. And with UFC Vegas 47 coming up, it's capped off by a big fight in your division, Jack Hermansson versus Sean Strickland. How do you see that playing out?
I mean, it's going to be a fun fight. Like, I definitely want to watch that fight. I mean, there's a couple fights on the card I want to watch. I want to watch Maximov's fight because, that's someone who I think I could be crossing paths with in the future. But as far as that fight goes, I mean, I give Hermansson the advantage on the ground. I don't know if he's going to be able to get Sean there, but I think that has to be the game plan for Hermansson to get him on the ground. Not that Hermansson doesn't know how to strike. It's just like, it almost seems like that's just Sean's thing right now. You know what I'm saying? He's in a groove. He's got a lot of momentum going. He's got a couple screws loose, so he doesn't care if you hit him in the head. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm picking Sean for this fight. I think he's got a lot of momentum. He's probably as confident as he's ever been. And Jack, if he's on the other end of things, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of a little bit more up and down, not really doing bad per se, but he's not as hot as he was a while ago. So I got Sean winning that fight, but I think it'll be a really interesting fight that could actually go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then shortly afterwards, we have UFC 271, big rematch between Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. How do you see that playing out?
Ah, man, dude, I tell you what, it's a good time to be a middleweight. You know what I'm saying? No, that fight is going to be it. That fight is it. All comes down to how much Robert is willing to change his approach to fighting Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because the dashing in, unless he dashes in super deep, it's tough because Israel has such a massive reach advantage. He can kind of do those untechnical things like leaning back and fading back where normally Robert's catching people with punches and kicks, but Stylebender's so long that he's able to hit Robert and lean back in a way that would normally get someone knocked out, and he's just totally clear of any of the strikes. So if Robert's going to want to win this one, he's going to have to use some of that wrestling, he has it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to use that wrestling. And I think he has to fight with his hands up. I don't think he can, come into the pocket with his hands down against Stylebender and, hope to last that way for 5 rounds. You know what I'm saying? I don't see you fighting with your hands down, lasting 5 rounds against Stylebender. So, he's had a lot of time. It's still it's hard for me until I see it to see him taking out Stylebender because it's just such a bad matchup.
Yeah.
Matchups make fights, styles make fights, and it's just a terrible matchup for Robert. He probably beats everybody else in the middleweight division, and he can beat Stylebender. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he does.
I gotcha. Before we go, I'll give you the final word to shout out any sponsors you have. Shout out your social media. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. All right, everyone, follow me on Instagram, Pooh Bear Battle 68, no underscores. All right. On Twitter, Bryan Battle 10. I love the Twitterverse. You know what I'm saying? That thing's wild. Everybody on Twitter, you guys are a bunch of maniacs. I love it. Shout out to all the people I gotta shout out. My coaches, Sensei Tom, Sensei Kevin, Sensei Tony, my parents, my wife. I love you, Caitlin. Caitlin's the best. I wouldn't be here without her. Shout out to all my teammates. Shout out to Iridium, man. Iridium's awesome. Jason, Jacob, Ed, the whole team, all a bunch of great people making things happen. And, we're looking to have a big year ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So, man, just everyone who's listening to this, if you haven't been keeping up with me, go back on ESPN Plus. Watch your boy on The Ultimate Fighter. If that's not enough, go on YouTube. There's like a gajillion fights on YouTube. And just keep an eye out for me, man, because I'm going to be on the rise.
Absolutely. Well, Bryan, thanks again for your time. We can't wait for the fight, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. You have a wonderful day.